Hello, fellow students of HIUS 530. My name is Ronald Picciarelli, and the article that I read and analyzed is The Quaker Executions as Myth and History by Carla Gardina Pestana. The article by Ms. Pestana was very interesting, and I became more interested in the article as I read more of the history of the Quaker sect and their opponents at this point, Puritans. What I read in the article is that between 1659 and 1661, four of the Society of Friends, Quakers, were executed by the New England authorities because they had come in, because at the time, Quakers were a very outspoken sect. They believed that the second coming was almost imminent, and they believed that they were seeing signs of end times, and because they were inspired by God, they were fearless. So different members of the Society of Friends or Quakers came into the New England colony to try to convert some of the people there because they believed that they were very misguided. Um, at the time, the Puritan authorities saw this small heretical sect as coming into the New England colonies, and they wanted more of a steady religious state that would not be upset by the small heretical sect. So they first of all, they tried to whip the members of the Society of Friends, Quakers, and then they were threatening them with banishment, and Quakers kept coming back still. And finally, they decided they were going to execute four of them, and they were executed. Soon after that, with a change in the King of England, the King Charles II sent a letter saying that the Puritans had to stop the executions, and that was totally illegal to do. Um, Soon after that, the Society of Friends or Quakers decided that they needed major changes in the denomination because what the first generation saw, such as signs of end times and things like that, were not really occurring. So the Quakers then emphasized pacifism and what they call quietism. Um, in the ensuing generations, the both sides in this dispute, basically, that the Society of Friends lost, they tried to rewrite history and put their own spin on the events. Quakers um, saw the events as not as the execution of very outspoken people that were inspired by God, but uh, they wrote that these early people had become martyrs to their faith. Um, Puritans, on the other hand, instead of seeing this small heretical sect that was kind of worming its way into the New England colonies, they, with their spin of the events, became that it was legal and necessary to execute these Quakers. And through the years, as generation after generation went on, the historiography seemed to emphasize Quaker view of the events, where the Quakers were martyred, and it was the New England people that were not defenders of liberty by any means, but they were intolerant of others. So Puritans were rewritten in history as becoming very intolerant. Carla Pestana was sort of anti Perry Miller in biased when she wrote her article. You could see some of that coming through, where Puritanism is seen as kind of an intolerant sect that has to change. They were ordered to stop executing Quakers. They were forced to become more tolerant of other denominations. by royal letters sent to them and almost threats from the King of England against their charter in New England. So as years went on, Quakers won the battle of the spin of the events from the 1659 to 1661 and the execution of the four um, Quakers there in New England. So it was a very interesting article, and thank you very much for your time.